Think back to when you were a child, before you learned about excuses, justifications, or pretending to be something you're not. Back then, you saw the world with fresh eyes, unclouded by bias or fear. You laughed when you were happy, cried when you were hurt, and spoke the truth because it was all you knew. As children, we didn't lie to ourselves. We didn't say, "I don't care," when something deeply hurt us, or "I'll be fine," when we felt scared. We embraced the truth of our emotions and the reality of our world without question. But as we grow older, something changes. We start telling ourselves stories, small ones at first. "It's not a big deal. I don't have time. That's just the way I am." These lies build up, layer by layer, until they create a wall between us and our true selves. The Stoics would say this is the beginning of our detachment from reality, and with it, our detachment from happiness and freedom. What if we could return to that childlike honesty? Not naive, but fearless in facing the truth about who we are and what we need to do to grow. How often do we deceive ourselves, not with grand, malicious lies, but with the small, silent ones? The ones we tell to make ourselves feel better, to avoid discomfort, or to stay within the boundaries of our comfort zones. "I'll start tomorrow," we say, knowing tomorrow never truly comes. "It's not my fault," we insist, shielding ourselves from accountability. These lies may seem harmless, but the Stoics believed they are the most dangerous of all. Why? Because lying to others may harm our reputation, but lying to ourselves destroys our character. The Stoics taught that true power and freedom come from aligning with reality, no matter how harsh or uncomfortable it may seem. If a man lies to himself, Epictetus warned, he is lost. To know who you are and where you stand is the foundation of all growth, strength, and resilience. So let me ask you, when was the last time you looked in the mirror, not just at your reflection, but into your soul, and asked yourself the hard questions? Are you being honest about who you are, what you want, and the work you're willing to do to get there? Today we'll dive into how the Stoics believed this pure, unfiltered way of seeing the world holds the key to mastering ourselves and finding peace. Let's strip away the illusions and uncover the truth. Because the truth, as uncomfortable as it may be, is always where freedom begins. Lesson 1. Embrace the truth within. Have you ever paused to ask yourself, am I truly honest with myself? The Stoics believed that self-deception is the greatest obstacle to personal growth. They taught that facing the truth, no matter how uncomfortable, is the path to inner peace and wisdom. The Stoics, both ancient and modern, emphasized the importance of aligning our perceptions with reality. They urged us to strip away illusions and confront our innermost thoughts with unwavering honesty. What happens when we allow ourselves to live behind a veil of lies? The Stoics warned that self-deception leads to a life unexamined, a journey without direction. By lying to ourselves, we build walls that prevent us from understanding our true nature. The Stoics encouraged us to dismantle these walls, brick by brick, to reveal the authentic self hidden beneath. Can we find strength in vulnerability? The Stoics taught that acknowledging our flaws is not a sign of weakness, but a testament to our courage. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." By confronting our imperfections, we transform obstacles into opportunities for growth. The Stoics believed that embracing the truth within us ignites the flame of resilience and fortitude. Why do we fear the truth? The Stoics understood that the truth can be unsettling, shaking the very foundations of our comfort zones. Yet they argued that this discomfort is necessary for enlightenment. Seneca stated, "It is better to conquer our grief than to deceive it." By facing reality head-on, we liberate ourselves from the chains of illusion. The Stoics urged us to step into the light of truth, for only then can we see the path clearly before us. How can we cultivate honesty with ourselves? The Stoics advised daily self-reflection as a means to this end. Epictetus taught, "Man is not worried by real problems so much as by his imagined anxieties about real problems." By examining our thoughts and emotions, We distinguish between genuine concerns and self-imposed fears. The Stoics believed that this practice sharpens our ability to perceive the world as it truly is, unclouded by deceit. Is it possible to find freedom through truth? The Stoics asserted that honesty is the key to liberation. When we stop lying to ourselves, we break free from the prisons we build in our minds. Modern Stoic philosopher Massimo Pigliucci reminds us, "No man is free who is not master of himself." By embracing the truth, we gain mastery over our thoughts and actions, unlocking the door to true freedom. What role does acceptance play in this journey? The Stoics emphasized the importance of accepting reality without resistance. They introduced the concept of amor fati, the love of one's fate. This principle teaches us to not only accept, but to embrace all aspects of our lives, both good and bad. By doing so, we align ourselves with the natural order of the universe. The Stoics believed that acceptance is the fertile ground where the seeds of truth take root. Can embracing the truth lead to a more fulfilling life? The Stoics were confident that it does. By living in harmony with reality, we experience a profound sense of peace and contentment. We no longer waste energy on maintaining falsehoods or battling the inevitable. The Stoics taught that a life grounded in truth is rich with meaning and purpose, a life where we can fully realize our potential. What steps can we take today to stop lying to ourselves? The Stoics recommend starting with mindfulness. Pay attention to your thoughts without judgment. Question your beliefs and examine whether they are rooted in reality or illusion. The Stoics encourage us to practice humility, acknowledging that we do not have all the answers. By remaining open to new insights, we allow the truth to illuminate our path. How does self-deception impact our relationships? The Stoics believed that lying to ourselves not only harms us, but also those around us. When we are not honest with ourselves, we cannot be authentic with others. This creates a ripple effect of misunderstanding and discord. The Stoics taught that by embracing the truth within, we foster genuine connections built on trust and mutual respect. Can the wisdom of the Stoics help us navigate modern challenges? Absolutely. The teachings of the Stoics are timeless, offering guidance for the complexities of contemporary life. Modern Stoic philosophers continue to build on these ancient principles, demonstrating their relevance today. They remind us that in a world filled with distractions and deceptions, the commitment to self-honesty is more crucial than ever. What is the cost of ignoring the truth? The Stoics warned that denying reality leads to unnecessary suffering. When we resist what is, we create internal conflict and turmoil. Epictetus cautioned, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." By accepting the truth, we minimize our suffering and find peace amidst chaos. How does embracing truth influence our decision-making? The Stoics believed that clarity of perception leads to wiser choices. When we see things as they are without the distortion of lies, we make decisions aligned with our true values and goals. This not only benefits us but also contributes positively to the greater good. Is self-honesty a lifelong practice? According to the Stoics, it is. They viewed the pursuit of truth as an ongoing journey, one that requires dedication and vigilance. Each day presents new challenges and opportunities to practice honesty with ourselves. The Stoics encouraged us to remain steadfast in this pursuit, knowing that it shapes our character and destiny. What if the truth is painful? The Stoics acknowledged that the truth can sometimes be harsh. However, they argued that temporary discomfort is a small price to pay for long-term peace and growth. Seneca advised, "Man is affected not by events, but by the view he takes of them." By reframing our perspective, we can find strength even in painful truths. How does self-deception hinder our potential? The Stoics taught that lying to ourselves places limitations on what we can achieve. It blinds us to our capabilities and keeps us trapped in a cycle of mediocrity. By confronting the truth, we unlock our potential and open doors to possibilities we never imagined. Can embracing the truth heal us? The Stoics believed in the healing power of truth. When we face our fears, insecurities, and past traumas, we begin the process of healing. The truth acts as a balm, soothing the wounds that falsehoods have inflicted upon our souls. The Stoics saw truth as a pathway to wholeness and well-being. What is the relationship between truth and virtue? For the Stoics, living truthfully was synonymous with living virtuously. They held that virtues like wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance are rooted in an honest assessment of ourselves and the world. By embracing the truth, we cultivate these virtues within us. How can we inspire others through our commitment to truth? The Stoics believed that personal transformation inspires transformation in others. When we live authentically, we become beacons of light in a world often shadowed by deceit. Our actions encourage others to embark on their own journeys toward self-honesty. What legacy do we leave when we live truthfully? The Stoics taught that a life grounded in truth leaves an enduring legacy. It impacts not only our own lives, but also the lives of those who follow. By committing to honesty, we contribute to a more truthful and virtuous society. Are we ready to embrace the truth within ourselves? The Stoics invite us to take that courageous step, to peel back the layers of illusion and stand face to face with our true selves. It is a journey of challenge, but also one of immense reward. The Stoics assure us that by never lying to ourselves, we discover the depth and beauty of our own existence. In the end, what matters more than living authentically? The Stoics would argue that little else holds such significance. They beckon us to walk the path of truth, to experience life in its fullest expression. By embracing the truth within, we not only transform ourselves but also the world around us. So, will you choose to live a life of truth? The Stoics have laid the foundation. The choice now rests in your hands. Let the wisdom of the Stoics guide you toward a life of authenticity, courage, and profound fulfillment. Embrace the truth within and set yourself free. Lesson 2. The Mirror of Self-Honesty. Have you ever gazed into a mirror and truly asked yourself, am I living my authentic life? The Stoics believed that self-honesty is the cornerstone of a virtuous and fulfilling existence. They taught that by confronting ourselves without pretense, we unlock the door to true wisdom and inner peace. The Stoics, ancient sages and modern thinkers alike, emphasized that deceiving oneself is a barrier to personal growth and harmony with the universe. What masks do we wear to hide from our own truths? The Stoics observed that humans often construct facades to shield themselves from uncomfortable realities. These illusions may offer temporary comfort, but ultimately lead us astray from our genuine selves. By clinging to false narratives, we hinder our ability to navigate life's challenges with clarity and purpose. The Stoics urged us to strip away these masks, to stand bare before ourselves, embracing every flaw and virtue with equal acceptance. Can self-deception ever lead to true happiness? The Stoics argued that any contentment built on falsehoods is fragile and fleeting. They taught that real joy arises from living in accordance with nature and reason. When we lie to ourselves, we create internal conflicts that disrupt our tranquility. The Stoics believed that aligning our internal world with reality is essential for lasting happiness. By facing the truth, we lay a solid foundation upon which to build a meaningful life. How does self-honesty empower us? The Stoics posited that knowing oneself deeply is a source of immense strength. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." By acknowledging our true desires, fears, and limitations, we gain control over our actions and reactions. Self-honesty enables us to make choices that reflect our true values, rather than being swayed by external pressures or hidden insecurities. The Stoics taught that this mastery over self is the essence of freedom. What role does self-reflection play in cultivating honesty? The Stoics practiced regular introspection as a means to greater self-understanding. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often examined his thoughts and motives to ensure they aligned with his principles. He wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." By taking time to reflect, we become aware of the discrepancies between who we are and who we aspire to be. The Stoics believed that this awareness is the first step toward bridging that gap. Why do we resist seeing ourselves clearly? The Stoics recognized that facing the truth about ourselves can be uncomfortable, even painful. Admitting our shortcomings challenges our ego and disrupts the narratives we've constructed about who we are. However, the Stoics taught that this discomfort is a necessary catalyst for growth. Seneca advised, "It is the power of the mind to be unconquerable." By confronting our weaknesses, we harness the power to transform them into strengths. How can embracing self-honesty improve our relationships? The Stoics believe that authenticity fosters deeper connections with others. When we are honest with ourselves, we can be genuine in our interactions. This authenticity encourages trust and respect, laying the groundwork for meaningful relationships. The Stoics taught that by removing the barriers of deceit, we allow others to see us as we truly are, and in turn, we can see them more clearly. Is there a connection between self-honesty and resilience? Absolutely. The Stoics held that understanding and accepting oneself equips us to face adversity with greater fortitude. When we know our values and limitations, we are better prepared to handle life's challenges without being overwhelmed. The Stoics often spoke of the inner citadel, a metaphor for the unshakable core within us that remains steadfast amidst turmoil. Self-honesty strengthens this inner fortress, making us resilient in the face of hardship. Can self-deception be a form of self-sabotage? The Stoics warned that lying to ourselves can undermine our goals and well-being. By ignoring uncomfortable truths, we may make decisions that are misaligned with our true aspirations, leading to regret and dissatisfaction. The Stoics encouraged us to confront reality head-on, to avoid the pitfalls of self-sabotage. They believed that honesty with oneself is a form of self-care, guiding us toward choices that nurture our growth. How does self-honesty relate to the concept of amor fati? The Stoics embraced amor fati, the love of one's fate, accepting all that happens as necessary. By being honest with ourselves, we can better accept our circumstances and find peace within them. When we acknowledge our true feelings about a situation, we can process and adapt rather than resist. The Stoics taught that accepting reality, including ourselves, is essential to living in harmony with the flow of life. What practices can we adopt to enhance self-honesty? The Stoics recommended several techniques to cultivate this virtue. Journaling, as Marcus Aurelius did, allows us to explore our thoughts and feelings candidly. Mindfulness meditation helps us observe our inner world without judgment. Seeking feedback from trusted friends can provide external perspectives on our behavior. The Stoics believe that these practices, done consistently, deepen our self-awareness and honesty. Why is it easier to be honest with others than with ourselves? The Stoics understood that self-preservation instincts often make us defensive about our own flaws. It's less threatening to address others' issues than to confront our own. However, the Stoics taught that true courage lies in facing ourselves. They encouraged us to turn inward with compassion, to be as understanding of our own struggles as we are of others. By doing so, we foster a kinder and more honest relationship with ourselves. How does society influence our self-perception? The Stoics noted that societal expectations can cloud our self-view. External pressures to conform or succeed by certain standards may lead us to adopt false identities. Modern Stoic thinkers highlight the importance of differentiating between who we truly are and who society tells us to be. The Stoics advocated for living according to our own principles, not those imposed upon us by others. Can embracing self-honesty lead to personal transformation? The Stoics were confident that it does. By recognizing and accepting our true selves, we open the door to profound change. Self-honesty allows us to identify areas for improvement and to celebrate our strengths. The Stoics believe that this honest appraisal is the catalyst for becoming the best version of ourselves. What obstacles might we face on the path to self-honesty? The Stoics acknowledge that fear, pride, and denial can hinder our journey. We may fear what we will discover about ourselves or feel too proud to admit our faults. Denial serves as a shield against discomfort. The Stoics taught that overcoming these obstacles requires courage and humility. They encouraged us to view these challenges as opportunities to strengthen our character. How does self-honesty affect our mental health? The Stoics recognized that lying to ourselves can contribute to anxiety, depression, and inner turmoil. When there's a disconnect between our true selves and the personas we project, it creates cognitive dissonance. The Stoics believed that aligning our self-perception with reality promotes mental well-being. By being honest with ourselves, we reduce internal conflict and foster peace of mind. Is self-honesty a solitary journey? While the work begins within, the Stoics believed in the value of community and shared wisdom. Engaging with others on similar paths can provide support and insights. The Stoics often gathered to discuss philosophy and personal growth. Modern Stoics continue this tradition, emphasizing that while self-honesty is personal, it doesn't have to be lonely. How can we teach self-honesty to others? The Stoics believed that leading by example is the most powerful teaching tool. By embodying self-honesty in our own lives, we inspire others to do the same. Open conversations about our struggles and growth can encourage others to reflect on their own lives. The Stoics encouraged mentorship and the sharing of wisdom across generations. What is the ultimate goal of embracing self-honesty? For the Stoics, the aim was to live a life of virtue and alignment with nature. Self-honesty is a means to that end, enabling us to act with integrity and purpose. It allows us to fulfill our potential and contribute meaningfully to the world. The Stoics taught that a life rooted in truth is not only fulfilling for the individual, but also beneficial to society as a whole. Can self-honesty coexist with self-compassion? The Stoics believed that it must. Being honest with ourselves doesn't mean being harsh or unforgiving. They advocated for a balanced approach, recognizing our imperfections while also acknowledging our capacity for growth. The Stoics taught that self-compassion fuels the journey of self-improvement, making it sustainable and humane. How does self-honesty influence our sense of purpose? The Stoics posited that understanding ourselves leads to clarity about our life's direction. When we're honest about our passions, values, and abilities, we can pursue paths that are truly fulfilling. The Stoics believe that this alignment is essential for living a purposeful and contented life. Are there dangers in too much self-analysis? The Stoics warned against becoming overly introspective to the point of paralysis. While self-honesty is crucial, they advised maintaining a balance between reflection and action. The Stoics taught that understanding ourselves should empower us to engage with the world more effectively, not withdraw from it. How does self-honesty relate to Stoic virtue ethics? Central to Stoic philosophy is the pursuit of virtue through wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Self-honesty is integral to cultivating these virtues. By knowing ourselves, we can act wisely, make just decisions, display true courage, and exercise self-control. The Stoics believed that self-honesty is the bedrock upon which all other virtues are built. What can we learn from modern Stoic philosophers about self-honesty? Contemporary thinkers like Massimo Pigliucci emphasize the practical application of Stoic principles in today's world. They highlight the importance of self-honesty in navigating modern challenges such as information overload and societal pressures. Modern Stoics encourage the use of technology and contemporary tools to aid in self-reflection and personal growth. How does technology impact our ability to be honest with ourselves? The Stoics might note that while technology offers tools for self-improvement, it also presents distractions and platforms for projecting false images. Social media, for example, can encourage us to curate versions of ourselves that may not reflect reality. The Stoics would advise using technology mindfully, ensuring it serves our journey toward self-honesty rather than detracting from it. Can self-honesty help us navigate ethical dilemmas? The Stoics believed that a clear understanding of oneself aids in making ethical choices. When we are honest about our motivations and values, we can better assess the right course of action. The Stoics taught that self-deception clouds judgment, while self-honesty illuminates the path of virtue. How does self-honesty influence our perception of success? The Stoics redefined success not as wealth or fame, but as living in accordance with virtue. By being honest with ourselves, we can evaluate what success truly means to us, free from external definitions. The Stoics believed that this personal definition leads to more meaningful and satisfying achievements. What is the relationship between self-honesty and humility? The Stoics saw humility as recognizing our place in the vast cosmos, understanding that we are a small part of a greater whole. Self-honesty requires acknowledging that we do not have all the answers and that we are continually learning. The Stoics taught that this humility opens us to growth and deeper wisdom. Can embracing self-honesty enhance our creativity? The Stoics might argue that it does. By understanding and accepting our authentic selves, we tap into genuine expression. Self-deception can stifle creativity by forcing us into molds that don't fit. The Stoics believed that authenticity unleashes the full potential of our creative energies. How does self-honesty affect our leadership abilities? The Stoics believed that leaders who are honest with themselves are better equipped to lead others. Self-aware leaders can recognize their strengths and weaknesses, seek counsel when needed, and make decisions aligned with core values. The Stoics taught that such leaders inspire trust and respect. What legacy do we create through self-honesty? By living authentically, we leave behind a legacy of integrity and truth. The Stoics believed that our actions ripple outward, influencing others long after we're gone. A life of self-honesty contributes to a culture that values truth over illusion. Are we willing to face ourselves in the mirror of self-honesty? The Stoics challenge us to take this courageous step, to look deeply into our own eyes and embrace the person we find there, with all their imperfections and potential. They assure us that this journey, though demanding, leads to a life of depth, purpose, and profound fulfillment. In conclusion, what greater journey is there than the quest for self-understanding? The Stoics invite us to embark on this path, guiding us with their timeless wisdom. By turning inward with honesty and compassion, we discover the true essence of who we are. The Stoics believed that through self-honesty, we not only transform our own lives but also contribute to the betterment of humanity. So, will you step onto the path of self-honesty today? The Stoics have illuminated the way. It is up to us to follow. Let us heed their wisdom, embrace the mirror of self-honesty, and unlock the boundless potential that lies within. Lesson 3. The inner light of truth. Have you ever wondered what shadows linger in the corners of your own mind? The Stoics believed that the brightest light we can shine is the one we cast inward, illuminating the truths we often hide from ourselves. They taught that self-deception is a veil that obscures our path to wisdom and tranquility. The Stoics, both ancient sages and modern thinkers, emphasized that only through unwavering honesty with ourselves can we navigate the complexities of life with clarity and purpose. What illusions do we cling to in the silence of our thoughts? The Stoics observed that we often construct narratives to shield ourselves from uncomfortable realities. These self-made illusions may offer temporary solace but ultimately lead us away from authenticity. By fabricating stories about who we are or what we desire, we create internal conflicts that hinder our growth. The Stoics urged us to dismantle these illusions, to confront our true selves without fear or judgment. Can facing our inner truths set us free? The Stoics argued that liberation comes from self-awareness and acceptance. Epictetus proclaimed, "Man is not worried by real problems so much as by his imagined anxieties about real problems." By confronting the reality of our thoughts and emotions, we release ourselves from the chains of imaginary fears. The Stoics taught that embracing the truth within dissolves the barriers that keep us from experiencing genuine freedom. How does self-deception impact our journey toward virtue? The Stoics believed that virtue is the highest good, attainable only when we align our actions with our true nature. When we lie to ourselves, we deviate from this path, acting in ways that conflict with our core values. Seneca advised, "No man is free who is a slave to the flesh." By succumbing to self-deception, we become enslaved to false desires and misconceptions. The Stoics encouraged us to seek truth as a means to cultivate virtue and live authentically. What role does courage play in confronting ourselves? The Stoics recognized that it takes immense bravery to face our own shortcomings and fears. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This call to action emphasizes the importance of moving beyond contemplation to courageous self-examination. The Stoics taught that courage is not just physical bravery, but the inner strength to confront the truths we might prefer to ignore. Why do we often avoid self-honesty? The Stoics understood that admitting our flaws can be painful, challenging our ego and self-image. We might fear that acknowledging weaknesses makes us vulnerable. However, the Stoics believed that vulnerability is a source of strength. Modern Stoic philosopher Ryan Holiday reminds us, the obstacle is the way. By facing our fears and insecurities, we transform them into stepping stones on our path to self-improvement. Can self-honesty enhance our decision-making? Absolutely. The Stoics posited that clear self-perception leads to better choices. When we understand our true motivations and desires, we make decisions that align with our authentic selves. This alignment reduces internal conflict and leads to greater satisfaction. The Stoics taught that wisdom comes from knowing oneself, and wise decisions stem from that knowledge. How does self-deception affect our relationships with others? The Stoics believed that dishonesty with oneself spills over into interactions with others. If we're not truthful about who we are, we cannot present our authentic selves in relationships. This lack of authenticity can lead to misunderstandings and superficial connections. The Stoics encouraged us to cultivate self-honesty to build deeper, more meaningful relationships based on trust and genuine understanding. Is there a link between self-honesty and emotional resilience? The Stoics argued that self-awareness fortifies us against life's challenges. By understanding and accepting our emotions, we can respond to situations with composure and reason. Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you but how you react to it that matters." Self-honesty allows us to process our feelings constructively, enhancing our resilience in the face of adversity. What practices can help us cultivate self-honesty? The Stoics recommended daily reflection and mindfulness. Journaling, as practiced by Marcus Aurelius, helps us examine our thoughts and behaviors. Mindfulness meditation allows us to observe our inner world without judgment. Seeking constructive feedback from others can provide new perspectives. The Stoics believe that consistent practice of these techniques sharpens our self-awareness and integrity. Why is self-honesty essential for personal growth? The Stoics held that recognizing our current state is the first step toward improvement. Without acknowledging where we are, we cannot chart a course to where we want to be. Seneca stated, "If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable." By being honest about our strengths and weaknesses, we set a clear direction for personal development. How does self-deception hinder our pursuit of excellence? The Stoics believed that excellence, or arete, is achieved through virtuous living and continuous self-improvement. When we deceive ourselves, we remain stagnant, blind to areas needing growth. The Stoics taught that self-deception is like a fog that obscures our vision, preventing us from seeing the path ahead. Clearing this fog through honesty allows us to progress toward excellence. Can embracing the truth within reduce anxiety? The Stoics argued that much of our anxiety stems from uncertainty and internal conflict. By confronting our true feelings and thoughts, we resolve these conflicts. Modern Stoic William Irvine suggests that negative visualization, contemplating potential challenges, can prepare us emotionally. Facing the truth reduces fear of the unknown, as we become familiar with our inner landscape. What is the relationship between self-honesty and happiness? The Stoics believe that happiness, or eudaimonia, arises from living in harmony with our true nature and virtues. Self-honesty ensures that our actions and desires align with our authentic selves. When we live authentically, we experience a deep sense of fulfillment and contentment. The Stoics taught that deceit, especially self-deceit, disrupts this harmony and leads to dissatisfaction. How does society influence our tendency to lie to ourselves? The Stoics noted that societal pressures and expectations can lead us to adopt false personas. We may feel compelled to fit into certain molds, suppressing our true selves. The Stoics advocated for independence from external opinions. Epictetus advised, "Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly." By valuing our own authenticity over societal approval, we resist the urge to deceive ourselves. Can self-honesty improve our professional lives? The Stoics believe that integrity is crucial in all aspects of life, including work. By being honest about our skills, interests, and values, we can pursue careers that are fulfilling and meaningful. Self-deception may lead us into roles that are misaligned with who we are, resulting in frustration and burnout. The Stoics taught that aligning our professional lives with our authentic selves leads to greater success and satisfaction. How does self-honesty relate to Stoic discipline? Discipline is a core Stoic virtue, involving self-control and adherence to one's principles. Self-honesty is essential for discipline, as it requires us to recognize when we're straying from our values. The Stoics believed that without honesty, discipline becomes hollow, actions without genuine purpose. By being truthful with ourselves, we ensure that our disciplined actions reflect our true intentions. Is it possible to be too critical in our self-assessment? The Stoics encouraged balance in self-evaluation. While honesty is crucial, excessive self-criticism can be detrimental. They advocated for a compassionate approach, recognizing human fallibility. Seneca advised, "No man was ever wise by chance." Growth is a process, and the Stoics taught that patience and kindness toward oneself are vital in this journey. How can self-honesty impact our physical health? The Stoics recognized the connection between mind and body. Self-deception can lead to stress and unhealthy behaviors as we ignore signs from our bodies. By being honest about our physical needs and limitations, we make choices that promote well-being. The Stoics believed that caring for the body is part of living in accordance with nature. What is the Stoic view on admitting mistakes? The Stoics saw acknowledging errors as a sign of strength, not weakness. They believed that admitting mistakes is essential for learning and growth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake in any thought or action, I shall gladly change." This openness reflects the Stoic commitment to truth over ego. Can self-honesty help us overcome bad habits? The Stoics taught that recognizing and accepting our harmful behaviors is the first step to change. Self-deception keeps us trapped in cycles of negative actions. By honestly confronting these habits, we empower ourselves to break free. The Stoics emphasize that we have control over our choices and can redirect our actions toward virtue. How does self-honesty influence our ethical behavior? For the Stoics, ethics and self-honesty are intertwined. By understanding our true motives and desires, we can act ethically and justly. Self-deception may lead us to rationalize unethical actions. The Stoics taught that integrity requires us to be truthful with ourselves about the consequences of our actions on others. What role does acceptance play in self-honesty? Acceptance is central to the Stoic practice of self-honesty. It involves acknowledging reality without resistance. This doesn't mean resignation, but rather recognizing things as they are to make informed choices. The Stoics believed that acceptance allows us to focus our energy on what we can control, our thoughts and actions. Can self-honesty enhance creativity and innovation? The Stoics might argue that authenticity fuels creativity. When we're honest about our passions and ideas, we're more likely to explore them fully. Self-deception stifles creativity by keeping us confined to safe or expected paths. The Stoics encouraged expressing our true selves, which can lead to innovative thinking. How does self-honesty affect our spiritual well-being? The Stoics saw self-honesty as essential for spiritual harmony. By aligning with our true nature, we connect with the larger universe. Modern Stoic practitioners find that self-honesty deepens their sense of purpose and connection to something greater than themselves. This alignment fosters inner peace and spiritual fulfillment. Is self-honesty relevant in today's fast-paced world? More than ever, the Stoics' emphasis on self-honesty is vital. In a world filled with distractions and external influences, staying true to oneself is challenging. The Stoics offer timeless tools to navigate modern complexities, reminding us to pause, reflect, and reconnect with our inner truth. How can we teach self-honesty to future generations? The Stoics believed in leading by example. By embodying self-honesty, we demonstrate its value to others, especially young people. Encouraging open dialogue, self-reflection, and critical thinking fosters an environment where self-honesty is nurtured. The Stoics taught that wisdom is a shared journey, one that benefits from communal support. What is the ultimate reward of living honestly with oneself? The Stoics held that self-honesty leads to a life of integrity, fulfillment, and inner peace. By aligning our actions with our true selves, we eliminate internal conflict and live authentically. This harmony within translates to a sense of contentment that external achievements alone cannot provide. Are there risks in ignoring the call to self-honesty? The Stoics warned that self-deception leads to a fragmented life, where discontent and unrest prevail. Ignoring our inner truths can result in missed opportunities for growth and happiness. The Stoics urged us to heed the call to self-honesty as a path to a more meaningful and joyful existence. How does self-honesty influence our legacy? By living truthfully, we leave a legacy of authenticity and virtue. The Stoics believed that our actions ripple through time, affecting not only our lives but those of others. A life rooted in self-honesty inspires others to pursue their own truths, creating a positive impact that extends beyond our own lifetime. Can embracing self-honesty lead to societal change? The Stoics would argue that personal transformation contributes to collective progress. When individuals commit to self-honesty, they act with integrity, make ethical choices, and engage authentically with others. This creates a foundation for a more honest and just society. What steps can we take today to begin this journey? The Stoics recommend starting with self-reflection. Set aside time each day to examine your thoughts and actions. Ask yourself whether they align with your true values. Practice mindfulness to become more aware of your inner world. Seek feedback from trusted friends or mentors. The Stoics believed that small, consistent steps lead to profound change. Is self-honesty a destination or a continuous process? The Stoics viewed self-honesty as an ongoing practice. As we grow and evolve, new challenges and truths emerge. Committing to continuous self-examination ensures that we remain aligned with our authentic selves throughout life's changes. How does self-honesty contribute to emotional intelligence? The Stoics recognized that understanding our emotions is key to managing them effectively. By being honest about what we feel and why, we can respond rather than react. This awareness enhances our relationships and decision-making, hallmarks of emotional intelligence. What if we discover truths about ourselves that we don't like? The Stoics taught that acceptance is the first step to transformation. Recognizing undesirable traits or habits allows us to address them. They encouraged viewing these discoveries as opportunities for growth rather than sources of shame. Can self-honesty coexist with ambition? The Stoics believed that ambition, when aligned with virtue, is positive. Self-honesty helps ensure that our ambitions reflect our true desires and values, not external pressures or ego-driven goals. This alignment leads to more fulfilling and ethical pursuits. How does self-honesty affect our perception of failure? The Stoics reframed failure as feedback. By honestly assessing our efforts and outcomes, we learn and improve. Self-deception may cause us to blame external factors or avoid responsibility. The Stoics encouraged embracing failure as a teacher on the path to mastery. What is the connection between self-honesty and gratitude? By acknowledging our true experiences and feelings, we become more attuned to the positives in our lives. The Stoics practiced gratitude as a means to appreciate the present moment. Self-honesty deepens this practice by allowing us to recognize and value what truly matters. Are we ready to ignite the inner light of truth within ourselves? The Stoics invite us to embark on this courageous journey, to peel back the layers of illusion and stand in the glow of our authentic selves. They assure us that while the path may be challenging, the rewards of living truthfully are immeasurable. In embracing the inner light of truth, we not only transform our own lives, but also illuminate the way for others. The Stoics believed that a world filled with individuals committed to self-honesty is a world moving toward greater wisdom and harmony. So, will you take the first step today? The Stoics have lit the torch. It is up to us to carry it forward. Let us embrace the inner light of truth, unlock our fullest potential, and live the life of authenticity and fulfillment that awaits us.